welcome to the 10th episode of Wake Up CX. Finally got here. I hope you like the rebrand. I hope you like all the new visuals. Again, I alluded at the start of the week as to what this topic was going to be about. It was all about the flattening. So rather than wasting time, I'm going to give a quick overview and then we'll just delve straight in. So if you haven't had a chance to research, I've been reading a lot of articles over the last week or two about the flattening, and this is Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk have been making strides to remove layers of middle management from their corporations. And the reason they're doing it is so that their businesses can operate much more efficiently and lean. It is their belief that by stripping out middle management, information will flow quicker from the top to the bottom of the business, and it will allow them to react and deliver a better service, respond quicker to the needs of their customer bases. And it will also help them save a ton of change on staff costs. But yeah, that's a quick overview for you. So before we begin, I'm going to do a very, very quick disclaimer. So just as a reality check, unless you are a secret billionaire, we don't operate on the same plane as Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg. It's a bit of a reality check there. As much as I would like to think that I am a secret billionaire, I'm unfortunately not. And I don't have the same impact or clout as either of those two on the global scale. But it's not unheard of. We do see it across various industries and sectors. Best example I have, my favourite one, is Steve Jobs. So back in the early days of Apple, Steve Jobs was essentially a nightmare. He was a very demanding manager who would regularly verbally abuse his staff and, according to reports, on sometimes physically abuse them for failing to deliver perfection as he saw it, or not buying into the vision that was Steve Jobs' idea of what the world and technology should be. And despite this reputation that he curtailed for being a nightmare perfectionist, despite this, he would still have huge numbers of applications of the best wanting to work for his business, until you had your first-hand experience, in which case then it may have changed. But it's one of those things, it's that star celebrity status that people sort of want to resonate with, so they do want to move closer to it. And in today's world, it's the same thing. You'll see it here on LinkedIn. Someone starts a job or they put an update. I've started a new job at Facebook, or I've started a new job at LinkedIn. And it's like, here's thousands of comments on there with everyone congratulating this person, just wanting to get into their sphere of influence. And it's a concerning thing. It's a bit of hero worship, but it definitely starts to cloud people's views. And with these cult followings, you will see everyone assume, well, not everyone, but a large population of people will always agree with everything they say. And you'll have to counter where there's a large number of people that just disagree with everything they say just before they even speak. And the ability to make a judgment based on impartial evidence becomes much, much harder, because you have a foundation opinion of these people and the way they are. So in terms of the flattening, my head's been kind of torn. Overall, I'm opposed to the idea, not because I don't think there is areas that we can curtail and make things more efficient, but I just think arbitrarily removing middle management from a corporation is short-sighted. It'll make information flow quicker, there'll be less red tape in the middle, but I think it cuts out a huge part of a business that plays a vital role in making sure businesses are successful and making sure staff are supported and developed properly. And despite the advice of Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and many other CEOs out there, I don't think it's possible for a CEO to successfully influence and manage millions of employees, and I do believe that you require small teams to be managed by a team leader, group leader, operations managers, and all the way right the way through up to head of departments and directors. I think everyone in that system plays a role. Now, there's definitely cases for individuals to be removed. I don't necessarily think that's part of this conversation, but for people that are saying, you know, you should strip them all away or they should all be protected, it's never cut and dry. There's always a grey area, and that is if people aren't improving, if people aren't trying to change and adapt and grow, if people aren't delivering into the business needs, or their actions are negatively influencing the business, then these things need to be addressed. And if after, you know, trying to address them, it becomes untenable, then you need to remove them from the business. That's not in any way to be malicious, it's just a reality. You know, you can try and fix a problem, but eventually you just need to remove it from the situation. So, again, I don't think that's necessarily the idea behind Mark or Elon's thoughts. I think they're just thinking, you know, a little bit of a God complex, which is understandable given their influence in the world, that they think that they are the only ones that should be making those decisions, and that their hands-on approach is going to lead to the best possible outcome. I think it's short-sighted, and one of the things that I will always champion is that in order to come up with a robust solution to any problem, you need a huge range of experiences and people's opinions. And I said it in a post about a year ago now, that your perspective and your opinion is built upon your journey through the world. You know, no two people have the same experience. It doesn't matter if you went to the same school, had the same jobs, you know, hung around in the same groups. The way you view these things are going to be different. And I don't just mean your visual point of view, I mean your mindset. You know, if you're afraid of the dark compared to if you're not afraid of the dark, it will shape how you experience and you live through different situations, which will, you know, impact the information you take away from them. Now, I don't know many people that go around the world like billionaires, you know, and Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are extremely detracted from society as a whole. I don't think they represent 99.9% of the world's population in any way, although they certainly do influence them a great deal. So I do think that is a risk that if they start to remove that huge chunk of their business, there's the conduit between, you know, your low-level staff to your senior board levels, that you're going to have a huge sort of chasm between their perspectives on the world. And I think any solutions or future initiatives will suffer as a result. In addition to this, I think it's important that we consider the advocacy of staff. So a huge role within middle management is to advocate for the staff below them, but also to champion the company initiatives of the people above them. It's that fine line, you know, you've got the black, the white, you've got the grey area in the middle. And that's what middle management is. You know, they have to make the best of both worlds. They have to frame everything perfectly. You know, it's a huge role, and it's one of those things where it's really easy to dismiss because, you know, why do you need these other people's opinions if you're so successful? You know, why am I paying you to sit there and tell me what this person's told you? Why are you regurgitating information to me that I can get direct from the source? And yeah, there is some element of truth to that you need to keep the flow of information untainted. But again, you also need to declutter that information, remove the irrelevancies, remove you know, the impartialities that people have, that as a middle manager you will come to understand your staff to that level where you know what is accurate, what is slightly fudged, you know, what's been tweaked and coerced by them and who they are. So I do think that's important. As I say, these are the main topics that have stuck out to me regarding the flattening. And again, I think anything that impacts the solution is only going to be negative for your end user, for your customer's experience. And I think leaving decisions of a business in the hands of people that are detached from that customer base is very dangerous as well. I will fully advocate in any business for your frontline staff to be involved in decision making. I appreciate you can't bring 100,000 frontline employees into a boardroom to make executive decisions, but you can definitely have their feedback, their suggestions collated, prioritised, whatever you need, and presented professionally. Again, another job that the middle management do. The idea of cutting that out from the business is a huge risk, definitely an oversight from Elon and Mark. Again, they'll never fall shy as a result of this. They're going to manage for the rest of their lives quite fine. But yeah, I do think that's definitely a thought that sat with me, and curious to see what everybody else thinks on the topic. I found it quite interesting. But yeah, one of the sort of quotes or phrases rather that sat with me during this topic, if you've never seen it, Saving Private Ryan, Tom Hanks, just talking about gripes, and Tom Hanks points out, gripes roll downhill. He gripes to his commanding officer, they gripe to theirs, but they don't gripe downwards. And I think that's an important part. So you'll often find middle management won't complain to junior staff, and they sugarcoat a lot of what their senior management are doing that they don't disagree with. And I think that's quite true in this case. And I'm not sure Mark or Elon are quite ready for what's going to hit their doorstep when they remove that filter from the business. So I think that'll be some entertaining news in the coming months. But yeah, that's it for this week's episode. On Monday, I will drop the teaser for next week's topic, which, again, I think will be quite an interesting one. A little bit more philosophical than I've been recently. So it should be interesting. I hope you enjoyed our episode 10, and I hope I can look forward to seeing you next week and enjoying some great conversations over the weekend. So thank you, and you have a great weekend now.